For me, connection is a way leading us to different possibilities. From the mobile phones we use every day, to the games that our kids are playing, to the TV that we watch, to the data centers, which support AI technology. When we look at all the connected world, all the devices we are using, they actually face very similar challenges. The heat inside of these devices builds up, and that long run, it impacts its performance. We can feel it. The device become hot, speed slow down. What I see is Dow plays a crucial role in the devices we use in our daily life. Our solution is thermal management and cooling technology. It dissipates heat much quicker than traditional cooling solutions. Dow's solution reduces the energy needed when it's operating. It also cuts CO2 emission and minimizes the water usage compared with conventional cooling systems. I'm originally from Shanghai, China, so I particularly cherish the time that I can connect with my parents, my close friends. They are still in Shanghai. My daughter also, she really misses her grandparents. We use quite a lot our mobile phone, our tablet, have a video call. I feel lucky. We don't feel the distance. We feel always connected here. We are redefining the boundary of what's possible. It's about innovation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our monthly webinar. I see folks from GE Vernova, BP, Wabtec, Pepco. Where's the GE Aerospace is in here. I see Ricky from Not Laboratory. So thank you for joining us. My name is Clarence Lowe. Many of you probably know me by now, Director of Professional Programs, joined by and supported by Jessica Moy. Jessica, wave. Awesome, thank you. Just a real pleasure to have you all here. There is actually a second video introducing Lei Wang, our speaker today, so I will keep my remarks extremely short because that video really encapsulates Lei and all the amazing stuff she has done. But it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. Her name is Lei Wang. She is going to speak about a mindset shift. I know sometimes we are, I facetiously joke, hey, I got to go back into the mines, and so maybe it's a different way of looking at the work that we do. I wanted, obviously, to acknowledge Dow as our webinar sponsor. Just amazing. I always am heartwarmed seeing that video of her and her family from Shanghai. So without going on, I'm going to have Jessica play the intro video for Lei Wang.
Lei Wang is a living example of what is possible and how the most unlikely person can become a high achiever. Lei is the first Chinese woman to climb the 7 summits, the highest peak on each of the 7 continents, and ski to both the North Pole and South Pole. Growing up in China, Lei had followed the traditional formula of success by focusing only on study and career. But in her 30s, she discovered a hidden passion that she would ultimately give up the comfortable safe-track lifestyle and venture into an exciting yet unknown territory. Barely able to pass the school's PE test in her youth, Lei realized that she had to take charge of her health and fitness before it was too late. In 2004, Lei dared to dream the seemingly impossible: to climb the 7 summits and ski to both poles. Instead of worrying about whether she could or couldn't, she simply set her sights on how. What was once a daydream, Lei systematically began the rigorous process of learning and training over the next 6 years. Be it a lack of athletic training, lack of skills and knowledge, or even resources, nothing could stop Lei. She intensively focused on overcoming one obstacle after another, learned the craft from scratch, and pulled in resources with her creativity to achieve what looked beyond her limit. On May 24, 2010, Lei summited Mount Everest to complete this grand challenge. Lei's achievement received extensive media attention. Her life lessons in After the Summit have inspired many to take their own first steps. Lei Wang's story will show you how to break through your mental limits and tap into your unknown potential, how to maintain momentum and stay motivated to keep your dream alive in difficult times, how you or your organization can set higher goals and grow beyond your current success. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lei Wang.
Hello, thank you so much for your warm welcome. I'm Lei Wang. I actually started my career just like many of you. I used to sit behind the computers and writing code, solving problems, hitting deadlines. I was the classic overachiever. Computer science degrees, MBA from Wharton, and a solid job in finance and technology. I thought if I just keep moving forward, working hard, the results will speak for themselves. And in some ways, it worked. I worked at places like Morgan Stanley, Wellington, and later ran startups. But somewhere along the way, I realized I wasn't feeling fulfilled or seen. I was hitting a wall I couldn't name. So I did something that made zero logical sense on paper. I left my comfortable life and pursued something really wild. That I learned how to climb mountains, literally. And even though I wasn't athletic, I pushed myself one step at a time, and eventually became the first Asian woman to complete the Explorer's Grand Slam. That means I climbed the highest mountain on every continent and skied to both the North and the South Poles. Now don't worry, I'm not here to talk about mountaineering, because that journey wasn't really about mountains. It was about learning to think strategically when there was no roadmap, when no one saw me as qualified, and learning how to show up as a leader anyway. And that's exactly why I'm here with you today. So now I coach leaders and speak around the world about leadership and performance. I wrote 2 books to codify what I learned, how to reach your peak potential in life and career. I worked with leaders at companies like Intel, Google, HSBC, and over, I see the same thing, especially with AAPI professionals and people in technical fields. We don't struggle with competence. We struggle with visibility, with clarity, with strategy. Many of us grew up being taught to follow the rules, not make waves, to be excellent, humble, and grateful. And that's how we earned praise, how we stayed safe. But that mindset, it can also keep us small. So here's the cost. If you stay in execution mode too long, people will keep relying on you, but they won't promote you. You will be respected, but invisible. I've seen brilliant engineers passed over, not because they weren't smart enough, but because no one saw them as strategic. And I've also coached new executives who were strategic, but didn't know how to communicate it. So that's why today's session isn't about tactics. It's about how you think, how you show up as someone who can lead, shape direction, and move people. So in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you how to start building your strategic leadership roadmap from the inside out. You will walk away with powerful mindset shifts, practical reflection prompts, and a new way of seeing your own potential. Strategy isn't just a company function. It's a personal leadership tool. Today is about thinking like a strategic leader. And also just a heads up, at the end, I will share a free companion workbook to help you apply what we're going to learn today and apply them to your own career. So don't worry about taking notes and be sure to stick around after the Q&A. So first, let's be real. If you are here, chances are you're great at getting things done. As technical professionals, we execute, we fix problems, meet deadlines, deliver under pressure. And early in our careers, that's exactly what gets us noticed. It's what earns us promotions, raises, respect. But at some point, things stop. You work just as hard, but you are not moving up. You are not alone. I've seen this over and over. That's a leadership plateau. And it's not about how hard you work. It's about how you think. Because what got you here won't get you to the next level. To move from doer to strategist, you need to start making decisions from a different place. You can't just drive results. You have to shape direction. That's a strategist's job. And that starts by asking different questions. Not just, how do I get this done? But how does this matter? Where are we going? So let's talk about the first mindset shift. So we're all being driven by something, right? Whether we're aware of it or not. Sometimes it's urgency, the fire drills, the requests, the never-ending Slack messages. Other time, it's a reward, the praise, the bonus, the next title. And sometimes it's something deeper, something we don't always take time to reflect on. So now I want to run a quick poll. What currently drives your career decision most of the time? So Jessica, can we put on the first poll? Yeah. Yeah, just a quick poll. There's no right or wrong answers. It's just about your self-awareness. Yeah, this shouldn't take more than even like 5 seconds, right? This something, it's just what normally drives your career decisions. Yeah, I see some people typing in the chat. Great. Thank you. Yeah. For the time's sake, let's close the poll. Oh, great. A lot of people driven by purpose. And of course, some people not sure. And there's nothing wrong with any of the answers. So here's the pattern I see. If you're always operating from urgency or reward, we stay reactive. We become highly effective, but always in response mode. And that's not where strategy lives. Without a defined why, we fall into reaction mode and optimize for short-term comfort. So this is the first mindset shift we need to make. Strategic leaders don't just respond. they anticipate, they align, they choose intentionally. And that starts with purpose. This isn't just about career choices. It's how you approach every project. When your manager hands you an assignment, do you jump straight into execution? Or do you pause and ask, why this? What's the bigger goal? That's how you stop being just a doer and start showing up as a strategist. So now, let's run our second poll quickly. How often do you reflect on your long-term career why? Again, there's no right or wrong answer. This is just your self-awareness of how often do you reflect about your why when it comes to your long-term career decisions. Yeah, I see some people say haven't for a while, but just started again recently. It's all about awareness. Yeah, so let's close it. Great. So yeah, we have more than half the people occasionally or frequently. So wherever you landed, here's the truth. Knowing your why isn't a one-time aha moment. It's a practice. It's not just about self-awareness. It's what keeps you from drifting into urgency mode or chasing shiny rewards without direction. So this is why strategy starts with why. This is why when designing your strategic leadership roadmap, the first step is a deep dive into your why. Because without it, every new project, promotion, or opportunity just becomes more doing without direction. Purpose is what makes your leadership sustainable, directional, and meaningful. It's the anchor for your decisions. It's the compass for your visibility. And for people who select it frequently, or I have a clear vision, that's excellent. But the next question is, are your actions, relationships, and visibility aligned with it? A clear why only becomes strategic power when it's consistently visible to yourself, your team, and your organization. That's what we'll work on next. So we talked about your why, what really matters. Now let's go a step further. Once you know your why, here's the next question. Where is it taking you? What kind of future are you building? Not just for your team or company, but for yourself too. Because strategy is about vision, and you can't lead others or yourself if you're not clear on where you're going. So here are the 3 mindset shifts I see in people who move from being just strong performers to trusted strategic leaders. First, they go from task focus to vision ownership. Early on, we're taught to wait for direction and then execute. But the leaders don't wait to be handed the impact. They define what matters and why. And they claim ownership of the bigger picture. And second, you should switch from efficiency thinking to strategic alignment. We love efficiency, right? It feels productive. But the leaders don't just move fast. They make sure the speed is pointed in the right direction. It's not about getting more done. It's about doing what moves the needle. And the third is from certainty seeking to curiosity to experimentation. If you are always waiting to feel 100% ready, you will miss your moment. Strategic leaders get curious. They test. They ask questions. They take small, smart risks to shape what's next. These mindset shifts don't require promotion. They start in how you think. So, strategic leaders don't just get things done. They shape the direction of what gets done. That's what it looks like. And here's what it looks like in action. Strategic leaders don't just ask, what needs to be done? They ask, where are we going? How can I help shape that? And people around them start seeing them differently, not just as contributors, but as leaders. So now I want you just to take a moment to reflect on your own. If no one else's opinion mattered, what do you want to be known for in your work, in your industry? You can write it in your own journal, or if you feel comfortable, feel free to share in the chat. And you can come up with more than one, that's fine too. Yeah, so take a moment to really think about that. Not just what you're good at, but what you care about being known for. This isn't about ego, it's about intention. Leadership starts with deciding what you stand for, how you want to show up, and what you want to create. Yeah. So if you feel comfortable, please feel free to share, but you don't have to. So this is your opportunity to reflect. Yeah, I see all kinds of answers. No right or wrong again. Yeah, could be personal brand, could be want to just be a kind person, want to influence future generations. Yeah, it's just what you want to show up, what you want to create, what you want to stand for. Seen as a contributor, collaborator, but also I encourage you to shift from just not only how we contribute, also how we want to lead. So that is about the mindset shift. Yeah, that's great. I see a lot of good answers. Not a good answer, it's just different answers. No right, wrong, good, bad, okay? So this is just a very brief exercise here when trying to write our vision in a very short time. So now I would like to run the next poll. Just wonder what is hard about leading with a vision for people right now? How do you feel? What is holding you back? What makes you feel difficult to lead with a vision? Yeah, again, wherever you land on this, just know you are not alone. We can be at a different part of journey on this path. And sometimes we just haven't had a space to think big, or sometimes we have been so good at execution and we haven't been asked to zoom out. But again, also, to lead, to have vision, you don't really need permissions. So let's close out. Thank you. Yeah, I see a lot of people probably need help, need more support about how to define your vision. And in the end, I will have a free gift download to help you to work more on this. And also, you're invited to reach out if you need help. So here's the truth. Vision is not a luxury. It's a leadership requirement. And without it, we stay reactive. And with it, we start to lead on purpose. And you know what? If you are always executing, someone else is doing the visioning. But the moment that you start asking, what matters most to me? What future do I want to shape? You become a strategist. You are no longer just responding, you are designing. You are no longer just moving projects, you're moving direction. So here's the real challenge. Start thinking like your boss or your boss' boss. That's when people start looking to you for vision. And that brings us to our next challenge. You've clarified what you want to be known for, but are you actually known for it? Even the clearest vision won't move your career forward if no one sees it, right? And also, let's be clear, strategic visibility is not bragging, it's leadership. It means owning your accomplishments and making sure the people who make decisions understand your value. But for many of us, especially those in the technical roles, that's hard, I understand. We were raised to be humble. Let our work speak for itself and not make a wave. But here's the truth. At higher levels, people speak for you, and they can't speak your value if they've never seen it. And no, whenever I lead this conversation, someone always asks, but I don't have a sponsor. How do I get noticed? Yeah, that's a valid question. But first, we have to ask, are you advocating for yourself? Are you promoting your work to the best of your ability? Because if you don't speak up about your impact, others won't know to speak up for you. So now let's see our next poll. What holds you back from sharing your impact? Yeah, I see some question in the chat. We'll address it in the end because that's all valid questions. And the bottom line will be all about how we shift our mindset to handle that. Okay, I think we can close this poll. Let's move on. I don't know how to talk about it authentically. That's the biggest. I wait to feel more ready or qualified. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad a lot of people resonated with those challenges, so you know you are not alone. So now let's unpack this. Because if you choose one or many of these, you know you're not alone. These are really common, especially among high achievers who are raised to be humble. And let's look at where this comes from. What's the belief behind it? Right? It's about when we try to dim our lights, dim our visibility. A lot of time we associate those promotion or visibility with something bad, with something as bragging or pushy, don't feel authentic. But the truth is, when you are excited but stay quiet, you train yourself to shrink. And the people around you, your team, your leaders, your industry, never get to feel inspired by what you have built. What if sharing your excitement is actually part of your leadership energy? What if it helps others believe in what's possible for them? And the good news, visibility isn't a personality trait. It's a skill. And like any skill, it gets stronger with practice. So that's actually related to a lot of questions I see in the chat. So the question is about how we build this skill. So let's start here. You've done meaningful work. face the challenges, deliver the results, ask yourself, are you proud of what you have built? Are you excited about what you have accomplished? And do you let others see it? When someone compliments you, do you say, oh, it was nothing? Or do you say, thank you, I'm really proud of that work? You see the energy different? Because strategic visibility starts with how you see yourself. It's not about the ego, it's about ownership. So let's do this exercise. Just reflect what's something you have done that you are truly excited about. Not just proud, excited. Yeah, I want to just reflect. You can write it down at your own journal, or if you want to share it in the chat, you're welcome to. And also think about how much of that excitement have you actually shared with peers, mentors, decision makers, not just at home. You shared with the world. Because if your excitement is real, but stayed hidden, that's not humility. That's missed leadership energy. That's missed opportunity. Yeah, I see people, a lot of people say, yeah, this is something we need to work on. And as I said, this is a skill. So as we get more comfortable, we do more exercise like this, we'll naturally start to feel not only proud, we feel excited about what we did. And then we just need to work up the skill how to share it with the world, right? So strategic visibility begins with honoring your own impact. Visibility isn't about being loud or self-promotional. It's about clarity. Clarity about what you want to be known for and making sure others see it too. At higher levels, leaders aren't just evaluated on how hard they work. They are trusted because people associate their names with a certain kind of value. So here's a key shift. I hope you're ready for this. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you're known for. That starts by being intentional about what people associate with your name. For example, you may say about some leaders, oh, she's the one who always brings clarity when things are messy. Or he's a calm voice who connects technology to business strategy. That's not ego, that's leadership. So strategic visibility is about being known for the right things. Strategic visibility means shaping the story others tell about you, so you are seen, trusted, and called in when it matters. So, next reflection practice. What's one sentence you would like others to say about you when you are not in the room? Just think about it. Feel free to write it down in the chat or in your own journal. What is one sentence others will say about you when you are even not there? That's your leadership reputation. That's not bragging. That's your brand. And it only becomes real if you choose to show up for it consistently and intentionally. Great. Yeah. So you can learn every LinkedIn trick in the book, but if you haven't shifted how you see yourself, none of those tactics will stick. Because strategic visibility starts deep with purpose, vision, and mindset. That's what elevates you from being a quiet contributor to a visible, trusted, strategic leader. All right, I know this has been a lot, and because we only have such a short time, we try to pack as many things as possible in this short time. So now let's just take a deep breath. We covered a lot today. The mindset, your why, vision, visibility. Each one alone could be its own workshop, but together they form the foundation of your strategic leadership roadmap. This isn't about quick wins. It's about building a framework for long-term impact on your career, your team, your business. Today, you began the internal shift. You named what drives you. You clarified what you want to be known for. You started challenging the beliefs that keep you in the background. Now it's time to move from clarity to action. So let's take a quick look at the 6 key steps to build your roadmap. First, start with honest awareness. What are your leadership assets? What are you great at? Where are you playing small? What's holding you back? And second, don't just react to job requirements. Build the muscles you will need for the future you want. And third, visibility comes from action. Step into stretch roles. Don't wait to be tapped. Position yourself. And the fourth, leadership is relational. You grow faster with the right people around you. And next, be intentional about what others associate with your name. Be known for what you bring. And of course, this isn't a straight path. There will be doubts, setbacks, resistance. Mindset is what keeps you moving. So I know this is a lot, and probably you might feel overwhelmed. So I'm just curious. Let's see where you need support most. So let's launch our last poll. Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, just take a moment to check in with yourself. So this isn't about what sounds impressive. It's about what you actually need next. Whatever you choose, that's your starting point. And if you're thinking honestly, I need all of this, well, you're not alone. That's exactly why I created a clear, structured roadmap to help leaders move forward with clarity and confidence. And you don't need to have it all figured out today, or tomorrow, or even next month, because this will be a continuously evolving journey. You'll continuously grow on this journey. You just need to take the next step. Pick one step to get started. Yeah, thank you, Jessica. I think we can close. Yeah, I see people almost equally scattered on all the steps we possibly can take. Yeah, I know there's a lot, and each step alone can take several months to master and take years to really refine, honing in. And for our lifetime, this learning journey may never end. So, if today's session resonated, and if you're ready to take this further, either for yourself or your team, this is exactly the work I do. I offer immersive programs for organizations and coaching journeys for leaders who want to think bigger, lead with intention, and be seen. And feel free to book a time to chat with me just directly through my calendar. Or if you simply want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'd love to hear what landed most for you. And don't worry, I'll put all the links in the chat later for you. And also, we have a workbook to download for you at the end. So now let's open up. What questions do you have? And we'll share the downloadable companion workbook after the Q&A, so stick around.
Lei, thank you so much for your inspirational presentation. I think I've been following our chat thread and pasted out a couple of ones that were earlier on. So if I may, I wanted to share that Elena had asked a couple of things, but it started with, how do you manage and use your fears?
Sorry, say the question again, please.
How do you manage and use your fears?
Oh, I love that question. Because actually, when you feel the fear, that means you're actually on the right track. Because when we go for the stretch roles, when we go for the next challenge, stepping outside our comfort zone, fear is a natural part. That's where you're going to grow most. So when you feel that fear, first understand that is exactly the opportunity you're looking for. Fear is the right emotion at that point. And then how do you leverage that fear into your advantage? Is, of course, we know calm down, right? Then think about how can I turn that fear into excitement? When has the fear means I need to learn some new skills. I need to get some new resources. I need to find some other way to solve the problems. So that's exactly the starting point for you to grow. So fear should get you excited. Finding what's the next small step can take you forward just a tiny bit. Because if you stay where you are because of fear, then you miss the opportunity. But there's always one tiny step you can take. So that'll be fear turning into the opportunity, turning into the momentum for your growth.
Thank you, Lei. I wanted to add, Danielle Jacques had asked, how do you advocate for yourself without sounding pushy?
Well, I like that question too. So as I mentioned in the workshop earlier, if you are truly excited about it, you cannot even hold back. You cannot even stop sharing with the world. So it all starts with yourself. Are you truly excited about it? I'll give you a concrete example. I'm the first Asian woman to complete the Explorer's Grand Slam. Tell you what, for many years, I wasn't that excited, wasn't that proud. People keep on asking me, oh, are you really proud of yourself? I'm like, yeah, it's no big deal. I wasn't being humble because the truth is, I belong to a community where the tons of people who have climbed harder mountains, bigger mountains, more mountains, achieved much more. Compared to them, I'm nothing. So for many years, I just felt only the thing is nothing. Until one day, my coach pushed me, asked me, how many people in the world did it? I said, I don't care. I finished. No big deal. And my coach said, no, I insist. I want you to find out how many. Then I was shocked. Not only I was one of the first dozen people in the world to complete, I was the number 4 women in the world to complete. Out of 7 or 8 billion people, that's a tiny, tiny club. What's the reason I shouldn't be proud of myself? So I learned lots of time how we see ourselves, how we value ourselves, shift how we talk about it. So once I realized if I don't share about my accomplishments, I miss the opportunity to inspire other people who want to have big dreams, who want to achieve high goals. So now I'm just always, that's why I tell Clarence, please play the video because I'm excited. I want to share with the world how awesome I am. I don't think that's bragging. I think that's to inspire people. If you did a great project, did a great work, just tell people how proud of yourself, how excited are you about your accomplishments. That's important. It's not about I'm better than you, I'm the best. It's I worked hard to achieve this much. I'm proud of myself. And I think other people see my example, they can also push themselves and achieve amazing things. So it's not about self-promotion. It's not about being pushy. It's about sharing your excitement honestly, sincerely.
I couldn't agree more, Lei. I smile when I hear a lot of your responses resonate. I think it resonates with me, it resonates with the people in the audience here. I want to ask Raymond Wang if he can come off mute a little bit. He had a very interesting question in the chat earlier, which was, how do I apply these approaches when trying to find a new role? And I wanted you to, Raymond, if you could, just maybe share a little bit more about what was in your head there.
Yeah. A lot of these, a lot of the suggestions in terms of developing an action plan work really well when you're trying to advance through an existing role in an organization. But if I'm looking for a new role, if I'm looking outside, just looking for a career change or anything else like that, how do I aside from the networking bit, right? Like, how do I apply some of these approaches that you suggested?
Great question. Thank you. Actually, I worked with several of my clients who are in the transition of their career. For one example, one person was stuck at a similar levels at several companies. When he moved from company to company, he kept on staying at the same level, and then he's between jobs, and he worried, my next role will end up the same. I stay for a few years, end up being stuck at the same level. So I worked with him on first defining who you want to be, what kinds of impact you want to make. That shifts you from what job can I apply? Where does my resume fit into the job requirement? To what kind of job I want to have. If I'm going to write a job description, what that would be, what kind of company I want to work at, what kind of role, what kind of impact I want to work at. Then you shift from this is a vision I see for myself, and he start to feel proud of himself. Oh, I realize this is what I bring to the table. I'm not begging for a job. This is what I bring to the table. This is my value. This is my impact I can create. And this where I want to tell people, hey, I'll be the perfect person for this kind of role. So that kind of mindset shift helps him to scope out the landscape much faster, identify the environment, the kind of job that he would be excited about, and how to present himself. Because I know a lot of time when you're looking for a job, you almost feel like people see me as a loser. Oh, am I good enough? But instead, if you think I would be the best candidate for this kind of position because this impact I'm going to bring, this fresh perspectives I'm bringing into this new company, and this is how I'm going to shift the culture, lead this company. Then I want to talk to you, and you should talk to me because I'm the best one. When you feel that way about yourself, you bring that energy into your job seeking. Then you totally changed how you approach your job search. And surprisingly, you will land your ideal job really fast.
That's really inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lei. Thank you, Raymond, for coming off mute. I'm just going down a list here. I see Dabir had asked, how do you compete with people who are better self-promoters or self-marketers?
That's a great question. As I mentioned earlier, I compared myself to all other people in my community. Better climbers, stronger climbers, record-breaking climbers. I felt nothing. Then I realized the world is really big. Who cares about other people? It's all about what impact can you bring, what excitement can you bring, and who you can influence. Because no one going to influence everyone. But if you bring that excitement into your life, into your community, influence the people who are connected to you most, who are closest to you, who work with you, who work for you, you bring the impact nobody else can bring. Then there's no need to compete with other people because there's a different world everyone belongs to. You don't have to compete in the same pond with them.
Awesome. Thank you, Lei. Sandeep had a question. Perhaps if Sandeep, you're still on with us, you could come off and elaborate a little bit. But he had asked, if we want to orient ourselves in the technical direction, then how can we use these tips to incorporate a strategic mindset? It seems like when we think about efficiency, certainty, and task focus, those are part of the path he feels. And it's interesting because a lot of us are in technical roles, but when you shift into a more strategic mindset, um, is it a paradoxical shift? Right, Sandeep, anything to add there?
Yes, sir. I'm glad you acknowledged this question. So my motive for asking this question is because as a Northrop Grumman employee, it appears that we could either grow as a technical professional or we could orient ourselves towards the managerial path with different titles. So I personally would like to grow as a technical professional. So that means I'm orienting myself in that particular direction. And if you think back to Lei's tips, she brought up some key points such as, let's say, drivers, where we have purpose, urgency, and when you have task focus, nature, or an efficiency mindset. I mean, that's all part of some things I've experienced in my career, and that's really given us a driver mindset as my team adopts more agile practices. So bottom line, that all screams technical. So how can we be strategic in that process?
Yeah, technical and strategic does not conflict with each other because whatever problem we're trying to solve with our technical skills is ultimately trying to make an impact to the world. So what is that technical product the problem they're trying to solve? For example, when I worked in technology, so I was always working between technology and finance. I was the one behind a lot of trading platforms. So I designed the system for trading on Wall Street. And one of my early tasks, they gave me almost 3 months to solve a problem of a pricing calculation for options. And what I solved, I realized, is not just fixing one equation, one function. Actually, it's about the whole efficiency of trading. So I worked really hard for 2 weeks, create a totally new product, not only solve that problem, totally improve their pricing accuracy, save their millions of dollars in trading profit within just 2 weeks easily. So that is strategic. I'm not just finishing the task they ask for. I figured, the ultimate issue you're trying to solve is trading efficiency, trading accuracy, trading speed. So if I expand my project, will totally rewrite at a different scale, I solve a much bigger business problem. So does that apply?
Yeah, it kind of applies. It's mostly about seeing the big picture and seeing what the root cause is, and that way we could try to think big.
Now think about the impact, not
Mhm.
just a problem you are asked to solve right in front of your eyes. Think about why you're asking me to fix this, what's behind it. Lots of new products were invented because people asked deeper questions. Not only I'm just want to recommend you how to buy the next book. Oh, actually I can recommend you so many other things. That's how like Amazon or other platform expanded, grow so fast. They're not just trying to solve one small problem. They solve the problem behind it. And that's driven by technical people.
So mostly thinking about all the problems that are behind one particular task and seeing how we could be a little more intuitive and all that. Yeah. I mean, that's just my understanding of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is part of the mindset shift. So every time when we take one small step, asking a bigger question, asking a deeper question, we moved one step forward. Then over the time, accumulation of the effect will be we're going to change the world.
Oh, I
Okay,
love hearing it. Thank you, Sandeep. Love to reconnect with you offline on a one-on-one. Please feel free to reach out to me. Lei, I wanted to thank you. I know there are a few more comments and questions in here. I want to respect people's time. Jessica, if you could put up the following things, but the webinar feedback survey is up. Please answer those questions and scroll down to the end, please. There's a few more questions underneath there before hitting submit. I wanted to thank Lei Wang for this really informational and I mean inspirational talk. I was trying to keep and type and chew gum at the same time. So if you have follow-on questions for Lei, please reach out to her. Connect with her on LinkedIn and so forth. So yeah, you can see the links that Lei had just put in there. Again, I wanted to thank this group. We had a very strong group, really engaged. I thank you for that. Please, I'm gonna put in here into a chat our next webinar by Lawrence Wee on 5 hidden barriers to your career success, and that is July 15th. Please, you know where to sign up and get the links and all of that. I look forward to seeing you in July. Our pro conference is being developed right now, so you're going to receive communications from me to the ERG network. If you haven't already started seeing some of that stuff, we have the ERG network meeting on June 26th, is the week after, not this week, but the week following, where I'll share a few more things about our STEM Connect conference and so forth. So I wanted to close it up and thank everyone for being here today. I wanted to thank Jessica for her support running the surveys and all the back office stuff. And again, I wanted to thank Lei Wang for such an aspirational presentation today. And feel free to connect with her on all of the social media channels as well.
Thank you. And also I shared the link to the gift I promised. The
Yes.
workbook you can download, and also the link for my calendar or my LinkedIn. I look forward to staying connected with many of you.
Right. Thank you, Lei. And this recording or this webinar has been recorded and will be on a playback link on the SAES webinar webpage, probably in a few days, but look for it next week. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day.